In this video, we will walk you through the process of setting up and using the tracker and showing some of the new features in GForge Advanced Server. Let's start by setting up packages and releases in the file release system. You can now link defects and tasks to releases, including future scheduled releases that are in the file release system. So we've added a package called core, and now we'll start adding releases to the core package. And these are just planned releases. We'll start with 0.9 with an estimated date of release. And then we'll add a couple of more releases, including a bug fix release and a new 1.0 release. There, all of our releases are now defined, and now we can start setting up the tracker. So the task manager, we want to add a FRS release field so that when we create and edit tasks, we can associate those tasks with any particular release in the file release system. So we'll call this planned for release. This is a custom field that we're adding to the system. We want to show it on the browse page and show it on the submit page. There, now we have the scheduled for release field. So let's go add a task and associate that task with a release. And there's our new scheduled for release field. Let's add a new feature in the 0.9.1 release. We can choose to add up to 5 files on the initial submit. We might add things like documents, specifications, or discussions. So here's our task. As you see, there's multiple different tabs that show at the bottom of our task, including messages and files that we can attach. This is the change log that shows which fields have been changed. Associated commits. So when you go to actually code this change, you can copy this ID number into your commit log, and that will associate your change with this task. And we can choose dependencies. If we had multiple different tasks in this track, we could enter a list of IDs. And same for duplicates. If this task is a duplicate, we can mark it as such. There's a time tracking feature, so we can record the amount of time spent on this task. Now let's build a query so that we can find all tasks that match our chosen criteria. So let's add a new query. And let's just find all tasks that were scheduled for the 0.9 release. And we'll call it new features. To run that query directly or export it into comma-separated Excel or XML, but let's run the query and just find the matching items and display them in the web browser. Now let's go to the file release system and look at that release. We can click into there and view the details on the release, including release notes and changes. And now there's that associated task. We can export the release notes in comma separated or an Excel spreadsheet. Let's go back to the tracker and log a bug against this release. And again, we could attach screenshots or other information. Let's build a query so we can find all matching bugs out of the list. And we'll just say, we'll create a query to find all bugs in the 0.9.1. And again, we could export those or just run the query directly. Can also go into the file release system and again look at the release, and now that bug is shown in the file release system. Let's work on the workflows for this tracker. Right now there are none set up. We can go into the administration page and define new workflow rules for the bug tracker, and we can choose which field should trigger the workflow rules. It was set on resolution, but let's use the status change. We have to save that change. Now we can edit the field values and choose to add transition rules. So we'll create a rule from open to closed by adding a new transition rule. Open to close, and let only an admin or senior developer can close an item. And we want to notify support technicians when an item is closed. So this will send a notification message to the support technicians. Now edit this item, and if we change it to closed, that notification will be sent. And again, if we ever have any question about the workflow rules, we can just click over there to see the list of all rules. And that concludes our demonstration of the tracker.